Let me know if audio is good, chat. Okay, audio is excellent. Thanks, Chris. Sorry for the bumpy start into this live stream. That is supposed to be something rather special for me for reaching 10,000 subscribers here in YouTube. So thanks to everybody. Thanks to everyone who subscribed. Thanks to everyone who's tuning in now. I thought that tonight we would just do a little studio tour, go through some of my gear, and I guess we're going to make a tier list and rank everything, just so you know what I really like, what I cannot stand, and everything in between. OBS is really messing with me today. The chat is not showing up. Now it is. All right, I guess that's already the first piece of gear that I'm going to be reviewing today. The LoFi-12 XT by Sonicware, which is one of the latest addition to my setup here. So it's like a lo-fi sampler that only does 24 kilohertz. It has only 12-bit dynamic range, so overall it's really, you know, crunchy, I would say. And you can even, if you like that, make the sounds even, yeah, crunchier with the 12-bit mode. I bought this one right when it came out, had it pre-ordered, really wanted that retro edition because I thought it looks really nice. And so far I'm loving it. Let me see, is my tier list working? Nah. Everything is messed up today. Okay. How is that not working? Hey, Ecstatic X. Thanks a lot. Super stoked to have reached 10K. Just to reiterate on that for just a second, like, last year around this time I was at, I don't know, 2K, and at Christmas it was like 3K, and I was like, it would be the most amazing thing for me to reach 10,000 subs by the end of the year. And I guess what really helped push the channel a lot were some of my last videos with the KO2, you know, the EP 133. Let me fetch that one as well. Just a second. Okay, I haven't really thought this through that well. So we're just going to, I don't know, randomly go through various pieces of equipment. Some of them I'm going to connect and we're going to jam with them a bit. Some of them I'll just show you. If you have questions, put them in the chat, please. I see that we're 15 now watching the stream. Thanks to everyone tuning in. Say hi. I appreciate that. It's always good to know somebody's out there. I'm super nervous today. Like, stressing me out to be live on here, but also enjoying it. So, I don't know. Okay, but for now, we'll just try and figure out how I can get my tier list to work, because I was trying to, you know, make OBS display a part of my what's it called, Photoshop, yeah, and somehow it seems to be stuck and not refreshing. So in the meantime and in between time, here's a bit more from the jam that I made entirely on the LoFi-12 XT. Here, let me bring it back into center view. Also, that track is called Space Travel, and a good friend of mine who's running the channel Arcologies, so at Arcologies, has recently published a tape sampler, and that song is on there as well. Nice and crunchy, 12-bit, 24 kilohertz, retro 90s sounding goodness. So here we go. Okay, as you might have guessed by now, I really like the LoFi-12 XT, and I managed to get the tier list working, sort of. Let's see how long that will last. So this thing is relatively new. Hey, Ecstatic, thanks a lot. Glad you enjoyed the vibe. Sunset and the end of a movie, I like that. Yeah, the cinematic feel of it. Hopefully. So the thing about this piece of equipment is it's still fairly recent. There's been one sort of major firmware update by now that I already like. I like the unit a lot as it is. It's very capable, and you can practically produce complete tracks with it as it is. Just turn it on, load some samples on there, you're good to go. It is still missing some features that I would really appreciate, and I think that Sonicware is an awesome company. They're like putting a lot of ongoing effort into their products, because I've been looking at some older gear and they seem to be updating their stuff for like hey for like a very long time. So that is awesome. And for now I will put this at an A tier, because if you like that like Akai 12-bit 90s vibe to your sampler, then this is golden. Like, it is a fantastic unit. You can battery power it. I'm currently using the MyVolts, oh no, this way. Allen Ertel, Katrin, Ecstatic X, Christian. Hi to all of you, so glad to have you on board. Hi to Vienna. Servus. So MyVolts, they have, by the way, disclaimer, none of this here is sponsored. I bought everything from my own money. I only enjoy talking about my gear. I enjoy talking about music gear in general. I don't know, I'm very passionate about it. So with the power bank, I actually prefer that to using like a, what's it called? The thing, like, you know, I like to be independent from an outlet. So yeah. Okay. Sonicware LoFi-12 XT 8 here for now. If they manage to cram in some of the features that people are requesting, of course I can't think of any at the top of my head right now, this might get to an S tier eventually. So I'll play you out with a short pattern from that track, and then we're moving on to this puppy here. People like it. Okay, let's see how I can change my setup as quickly as possible without making a lot of ruckus. But yeah, give me a second. Oh, sorry. Hello. Hello, you. Oh, as you can see, like I removed the power bank and it's still working because I've got some rechargeable batteries in there as well. Just because, I don't know, I like to take that thing, sit on a couch or wherever and just jam with it with my headphones on. It's so nice to be independent of a computer and screen and whatever. And back. Yeah, ecstatic X. So the plan is, I have no idea how long I can last tonight or how long the stream will remain interesting to you. But the goal was to actually go through every piece of equipment that I use within the studio, talk about it for a minute, tier rank it, and well, with some of the equipment I might jam for a bit, just, you know, keep people entertained. If you have questions about any of the gear, no matter if I've already reviewed it or if it might come up next, you will be here all night. That's good to hear. At least one of us is motivated. No, I am too. Yeah, questions, comments, requests, whatever. Maybe I'll try to like give you guys a little look at the studio and okay. So the KO2. It's been a while. Yo, 256K, what up? You good, man?
Right out of the alehouse and into the jailhouse. And right
What? If it is, then not consciously. I don't even know what you're talking about. Keep this chat PG-13. Okay, yeah. So the KO2. Let's see if I have any other interesting jams prepared. Yeah. So the display is like counting through the steps. Hey, at strolls. Yeah, I totally agree. KO2 is too much fun, but too much fun in a very good way. When Teenage Engineering announced this, I don't know, giant pocket calculator, I was like, need to have now. Usually Teenage Engineering stuff is by now at a price point that is bordering on ridiculous, though I am one of the few people who will be defending them for their price policy for the most part. This one, like what you get for the money, is amazing. I love the retro aesthetic. I love the display. So ecstatic to answer your question. The display is segmented, so it's like an old school technique where everything is just like cut out and illuminated, with individual like LED like elements, and it will display all necessary information. It will sync, it will show you when you're using effects, what the effects are, the levels, the panning, the groups that you have on here, and it might take a second to really get to know the unit and how to work it. But once you do, it becomes like very addicting. I don't know, it's just super easy to get a jam started. And as you can hear, it doesn't only have to be like lo-fi boom bap stuff. Of course, there are a few things that I really hope that Teenage Engineering will be improving upon. So as it is right now, you do have some very cool global effects, but they are affecting all 4 groups simultaneously. So you cannot select effects per group, which is a bit of a downer, to be honest. I don't know. So far it hasn't stopped me, and I gotta say, like my most watched videos have all been jams that I did solely on the KO2. I guess there's just something about the look of it and the weird calculator like feel, but at the same time it's very intuitive. Like, I don't know, 10 minutes and you know how this thing operates for the most part, and then it's just, I don't know, getting the hang of it and like getting into the nooks and crannies and really figuring it out. But it's super easy to get started with. It's immediate fun. They have a lot of really good samples on there, like from the get-go. You turn the unit on and you just have a plethora of good sounding stuff that you can actually work with, while also being, you know, not overwhelmingly much or anything. So I don't know, when people talk about teenage engineering, or like when I talk about them, I gotta say that the old saying of like restriction creates productivity and creativity is totally applying to their stuff. Like especially with something like that is limited to, I think, 12 stereo, 12 mono voices, and which comes down to 6 stereo voices, which really isn't that much. And there is no resampling as of yet. Fingers crossed that this is something they will implement. If this thing gets resampling, effect per group, and maybe throw in like 2 or 3 extra voices, it would be S tier for me. So, but as it is, hey VCXX9945, most normal username in Ohio. That was a weird joke, sorry. Hi, can you use a guitar with the KO2? You want to sample your guitar? You can do that. You just need to find a way to get it in there. I mean, there is it has a little speaker here, and does it even have an onboard microphone? I can't remember, to be honest. Oh yeah, recordable punch-in effects would be awesome. Totally agree. So yeah, you can plug your guitar in if you just, you know, find a way, find a fitting cable, or go from your effect unit into it, and you can use the effects for input as well. You can record it, sample it, pitch it, cut it up. It's what I usually do with like sampling vinyl. Just plug it into the input, record something, chop it up, and have a good time with it. Let's see if I still have something on there. Okay. Wow.
Right out of the alehouse and into the jailhouse.
So yeah, here is the speaker that it has, and I do think it has a mic as well. It's just I never used the speaker. As you can probably tell by the size of it, it is not amazing. Like you will not be able to like have a nice bass response from something like that. But it's nice that it's on there. It's usable. You can also remove this and battery power it as well. And you see the little knobs here. That is all Lego compatible. So yeah, like this piece here is not what came with the KO2 originally. It's just a Lego 6x6 or whatever that is with a sticker on it, and I replaced the grill that was on there before. let me get to the tier ranking. Oh my god, we're 30 minutes into the stream and we're at equipment numero 2. So this will not end well. And we have another one of these, the medieval one. So, come on, get a grip, me. So let's see, where do I put the KO2? For now, I want to put it between A and B. It's sort of A tier because I'm having so much fun with it, because it's super immediate, price point is nice, everything about it is just fun. But I do wish that Teenage Engineering could do some, firmware update magic, and that would certainly bring it up to an A. Maybe even S tier eventually. Yeah, you totally could use the KO2 as a standalone device. You don't need anything else. You can start a complete track with it. You can pop some batteries in there, put on a headphone or anything or something like that, or use the minuscule speaker that it comes with, and you're good to go. Which brings me to the next one. So still like 15 people who have tuned in. Hi. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being awesome. Okay. So one could be thinking, I've put a new skin on this one and it's just the same as before. Whoop. But this is like the successor or the alternate model to the KO2, the medieval one. Here you can see, by the way, this is like the grill that is originally on one of these. I guess, yeah, it's so chocolatey. Also, of course, like the graphics are just, it's so good. And it doesn't say output, it says summa. It doesn't say input, it says initus, because it's a instrumentalis electronicum. So it's like this is basically their idea of, I don't know, some of it is maybe proper Latin. I don't think that all of it is. They're calling the effects pocus, like in Hocus Pocus. The shift has become altero, and fabula, codex, errado, quanitum, pulsus. This is something you should bring to church, I guess. Should. I've been wanting to do a video with this one. I haven't gotten around to doing it yet. It will come eventually. I kind of want to do some, I don't know, medieval drum and bass jam. Expecto Patronum. Yeah, it does sound cool. This is the device for the people who make a medieval version of every. Yes. I was kind of thinking about what song could I cover with it and make it sound medieval, but then I was like, no, I'm going to do medieval drum and bass and or like medieval jungle. Benefactum, Kiss is still with us. That's awesome. Hi, Robert. A specific program you're using for the medieval? No, like this is just standalone. All the sounds that you heard, except for the breakbeat, are all stock sounds that the unit comes with. So let's see. So the thing is, I mean, obviously this is sort of a gag in a way, because with the whole medieval style and the naming and the weird sounds, but they did implement some really cool stuff. So not all the effects on there are the same as on the regular KO2. There are variances. There are like different punch-in effects, but there's also another global effect, I think, that is called echo, which may or may not be the same as the delay. I'm not too sure about it. Maybe it's just the different naming because of the whole medieval style. So yeah, they have some great samples on there. Does it have an ARP? That is a valid question. At Strolls, I do not know. Sorry, man. I hardly ever use arpeggiators like with a device such as this one, so I do not know. I don't think it has an arpeggiator though. It has some sampled phrases. These are fun and they're cool to use, but also they're very limited because, you know, all you can do with those is you either chop them up or pitch them or, you know, do stuff like that, but you can't just play them in the same melodic way that you can use like a single sample or a synth. But like this is one of the sounds that they included, and I think it sounds so good. So with claves, you enter the mode where you can play like a keyboard. And these are multi-sampled, so you can hear that some of the notes, they just sound different. They have a different like initial sound to them. You can just hear that they put some extra effort into those. It's not just a single sample that is being pitched up and down, but they used a bunch of sounds to, you know, create a better instrument overall. Oh, I like the attack of that, like, that is so nice. And the breath in the flute. I like that. That is, yeah. And already I'm hearing a 4 to the floor techno kick at 140 beats per minute. And you're good to go, right? That is nice as well. Can you use these samples on the normal KO2 version? You know what? I'm not too sure about that. Maybe you can't, because from what I've read is that they have there's not even like the same amount of RAM built into these. This one has a bit more RAM, but it's being used up for the instruments, and I think you cannot use them on the other one, but I'm not 100% sure about it. But no. What have I done? I think I messed up my jam. Whatever. Okay. Moving on. So I would say I'll put this at the beat here for now, because it's too similar in a way to the original KO2. It doesn't do that much new. Or thinking about it, it's so fun. Just like the graphics, the naming, the everything about it, all the details. Forget what I just said. It's also a strong B or a light A, whatever you want to make it. Here's to hoping they will update that stuff and just, expand on it. You can sync it so it's compatible with devices that send sync pulses. It has MIDI in and out. It has some onboard storage for your own samples when you record stuff, but not a whole lot. Like, I don't know, we're talking like a minute or so of sampling RAM, which, don't get me wrong, is plenty enough to do whole jams with, but might seem not enough for some people. Okay, I guess for now I'll just stick to talking about teenage engineering gear because there is more on the table. This one here, the TX6, that has also samples built in. I don't know if anyone has used that or has watched reviews on it, or I don't know. This one seems to bring up some heated discussions because it's been called a mixer for ants because it's so tiny, and it is like really tiny. I think if you have like really big hands, it could be an issue, but then again, you're not fiddling with those little knobs all the time, like constantly. Usually you plug something in, you find a nice setting, and you go with it. But I just wanna say how awesome this device is. Like, if I had to rank my studio gear in importance, to me, this is top 3 of all the things that I have in the studio. I'm going to demo it just a little bit because it has so much to offer, and it's just so fun. Give me a second. Okay, how's everybody feeling? 16 are watching now. Hi to everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for staying on. Thanks for talking to me and making me feel less insane. I appreciate that. Okay. So this is the Mate or M8 by Trash80. Yeah, every device looks so awesome. Thanks, Ecstatic. I don't know. It's totally it speaks to me. I think when I want to work on music and I want to jam, it is super important to me that I find the devices aesthetically pleasing as well. I don't know, it's just, it makes a difference. Because when it speaks to you and you just want to pick it up and be like, oh, you look so cute and funny, you just want to mess with it more. At least that's what I feel like. So, let's see. Okay.
Just numbers. No names. No names at all. Just.
We'll get to that one in a second, but for now I just wanna like have the focus on the TX6 because we're going to be reviewing this now, you and me together. Let's see. I don't know, any FX Twin fans out there? Anybody who really appreciates the Twin? Because like, so this is the M8. It is a tracker in handheld form, and we're going to be talking about it extensively because it is amazing. But I made a cover version of Avril 4th. And so the amazing thing is I told the mixer to be listening to the input, what the tempo is like, just by analyzing the audio. So if you take a look here, the tempo is 77. And if I start the jam, the music, the mixer automatically recognizes the tempo, which means that if I'm using effects now that are rhythmically, for example, there is a effect that is a tremolo, then it will be matching like the rhythm, the tempo. Smallest screen ever. Hey Philip. Cool. Thanks for checking out the live stream. And I'm using it like for reverb on my voice as well. If I feel like it, like this. So yeah, this mixer is, despite having the smallest screen ever, despite having the tiniest elements and knobs and twiddly things and levers and sliders and whatnot, it is insanely good, and it is just crazy the amount of features that it offers. It has your regular output. You also have a Q output. You have a headphone output. You can route things internally. It has 2 banks of effects, one that you can apply to every channel or select, like, so there are sound effects like delay, reverb, chorus. Then there's stuff like bit crusher, tremolo. There is a tape stop that is always fun. Some DJ filter. Bit crushing. I mean, it doesn't, in my opinion, it doesn't get much better than that. Let's have a look at another jam on the M8 here. Let's see. That's just a sketch of an idea. No, we've had that one. Oh yeah, some jungle track that is inspired by like 1990s PlayStation 1 era music. So if it wasn't already obvious to everyone, this is an S tier. Like, don't even have to think about it. It is one of my favorite devices that I own. I use it for every video that I make. I use it for every jam that I have going. It's amazing. I'm only going to be repeating myself if I talk about this more. Let's see. Hi Nadine, Robert, cool that you're still around. Really nice of you to stop by as well. Ecstatic gives it an S++, and I totally agree. And since it's already on the table, let's just talk about you too, Christian. Let's talk about the M8 for a second or two. I do hear some static noise, but Robert, I know you appreciate that, or at least I think you will. Yeah, it's Puppy Cat. You know it. Ah, it's so good. So that's one of the jams on the M8. I want to say that if you want the one device to have that you can just produce full tracks on, tracks that you can release that sound like excellent stuff, like stuff that you expect to hear from somebody who's working like in a studio environment. Maybe I'm hyping it up too much, but I don't think so. This is the device. This is the MK2, like the second iteration. Sorry for the glare. It's just that there's a light right above my head, and I have like white audio panels at the ceiling, and they're reflecting in the screen. So gotta hold it at an angle. But I think you can tell that the screen is like really nice, and it's got those, mechanical, like from a mechanical keyboard keys. And this device is has been invented, built, constructed, coded, designed. Everything was done by one single person, Trash80. Shout out to Trash80. Amazing guy. Insane guy, I'd also say, because he has been releasing firmware updates for this device like a madman. No other company, I'm telling you, no other company out there is doing what he does. So I think the OG came out, I want to say 3 years ago. I think it was 3 years ago. I was among the first pre-orders. A friend of mine told me, hey, something is coming up. I'm going to send you a link. You need to order this. And I took a look at it. I had no idea what it was. I just saw it looks like a Game Boy. It has a nice screen and it seems to be music related. So I bought it. Couldn't resist. Had to spend the money because it was burning a hole in my pockets. And I need to let go so that this could come in. It is a tracker. So the one thing that might be a hurdle to some people that want to use something like this is it is tricky to get into. Like, I don't know if you have any experience with making music, with using groove boxes, with working in a DAW, like in music software. You have a certain concept of how things work. Like usually you have like linear arrangements, your music tends to be arranged from your left to your right, be it something like this here, and it's going to be just lights that are like going through from the left to the right, or be it the arrangement view in your Ableton Live or Fruity Loops or Cubase or whatever you're using. Usually that's how you arrange stuff, from the left to the right, and you use notation in one way or another, or you use like step sequencing. This is different. If you take a look, you will see there's numbers and letters there. So this is Chris, correct me if I'm wrong. This is hexadecimal code. So you have values that go like from 0 to 16, 15, 16, in one digit, 16. And that's sort of how you input your notes, your effects, your everything. I don't know. I'm not going to be doing like a walkthrough of this device now, because that would use up the entirety of my live stream time that I do want to dedicate to getting through some more of my equipment. But just know that it took me days and days to get my first proper jam with this going, because it was so different. I had no experience with tracker software before, the only experience that I had was back in the Amiga days. So I had an Amiga 500 and I had a tracker software for that one, which was called Fast Tracker 2, I think. But little old me had no idea how to use it, and I was just not able to produce any like musical result with it back then. I guess hopefully this has changed by now, and let's start one more jam, because I want to just show you guys how versatile this thing is. Like, you can do so much with it. Oh yeah, Nanoloop. Yeah, it's actually totally different. It's really hard to compare it to something else, I want to say. Do you guys hear some static? Or is that just my headphones? Weird. Let me know if you have some sort of sound, because that would suck. Thanks, Robert. Okay. I'm realizing that I'm spending way too much time with each of these things, which with each of my devices, just because I'm having too much fun with it. And I appreciate everyone who's still enduring my demonstration. You're so motivated, ecstatic. I'm almost jealous. Okay, moving on. So to sum up things about the M8, it is a sequencing software, but it also samples. It has various forms of software synthesis. It does FM, it does like some 8-bit sort of sounds. It does sampling really well. You can chop breakbeats, you can slice stuff, you can pitch it, warp it, stretch it. It has onboard effects. It has sequencing effects that are really nice and really interesting. Arpeggios, you have filters, you have sends, you have LFOs. It is a full production suite in this tiny box. This is the most complete form of music creation in a handheld device that exists out there. And it is like beyond anything else. This is amazing. Don't even have to think about it. It's an S tier. Obviously, doesn't get much better than that. If you have one, you know it. If you don't have one, you might want to get one. And I wish I would get some kickback if people actually buy one. No, seriously, this is S tier easily. It is amazing. It is one of the coolest devices that I own, and I love it, and I would never get rid of it. I only sold the MK1 to get the MK2, that's it. Hi, Britain. Exactly the right amount of time. Exactly the right amount of time. I already lost the context to that. But moving on. Talking about cutesy gear, here is the Chompi in pink, because why not? Get ready for some LEDs. Okay. the colors. Let's see. Okay, this one, does anybody know the Chompi already? Has anybody seen one of these? Because I think it has become sort of, not really, I don't know, maybe not really hyped, but it does look very anime. So this is a looper, basically a very fancy looking looper with nice keys. And let's see. Yeah. So this is using samples, but you can just, you know, plug in audio devices, your guitar, your whatever, and sample from it. And it's a looper that looks really nice. I backed this one on Kickstarter. I think the pink one is like Kickstarter exclusive. I mean, look at the design. It's so cute. Whee! Right? It's adorable. Let's see if I find a nice sound on here. I think that's what they're aiming at, actually, like maybe a younger audience, or to make it easier for a younger audience to get into creating stuff in a very playful way, you know, because it's super colorful. Everything is color coordinated and color coded. Everything is very chunky. There's no like screen. There's no weird functions that you can't grasp within just a few seconds. So it's really easy to get into. I'll just demonstrate what it does for a second. So this is like a reverb. And let's just record that for a second. No, sorry. Okay. Yeah, it does come in other colors. I think black and I don't know what else. So this wheel here lets you, You know, you can reverse things, you can layer stuff on it, you can filter it, you can add reverb. Or you can even like copy sounds into the loop, which is probably one of my favorite functions. Let's see. Let's get rid of the how did that work again? I forgot. That copy it there. And now my drum loop is in the looper section of this thing, and I can just choose another sound. Yeah. So as you can see, it doesn't offer that much of, you know, depth or standalone capabilities, but it's a fun device. You can route in some external effects, like if you use a delay or reverb, and you can set it up as a send effect and use that as well external. It has a built-in microphone. It has a headphone out and a out to your, you know, to your setup, to wherever you want to record or amp your stuff to. And it has two different modes for just using internal sounds to loop them and play with them, or to sample external stuff. Like now it would record this. No, I forgot how it works. But yeah, that's that. And I am one of the beta testers for this device, and I know that they are working on improving the firmware, trying to add features to it, which they've already done. And also they're like trying to establish something like alternate firmwares, so that you can have your own custom firmware that allows you to do very specific things with your unit, which I really appreciate. They're being very open, very communicative, very whatever. Great company. The product is fun for what it is. It's not like crazy cool or some insane must-have piece of gear, but I like it. Chompi pink. I'm just looking for a nice picture of it. to throw into the tier list. I'd say this one for now, it sits between a B and a C. Maybe that's a bit unfair because it does everything that it promised that it would do. But then again, it's like, I wish it could do more. Like several layers of undo would be really nice. More effects would be nice. And while you can set up the looper, to wait for a keyboard input, you cannot set it to wait for an audio input, which I would really appreciate for a looper. Is this the most beginner-friendly device? It is very beginner-friendly. I would say it does come preloaded with sounds like bass sounds and synth sounds, not a whole lot, and you always have to keep in mind that it's very much just using solo samples and pitches and stretches them, but it has a very nice sounding like algorithm for pitching stuff down and up, so it does sound really good at what it does. The onboard reverb and delay is excellent. It has a distortion effect. It has compression. You can edit start and end points. And yeah, you could MIDI sync it as well. So I think it will become even better over time. Yeah. No, it's not on par with the Casio keyboard. Casio is in a league of its own. But yeah, it's a beginner-friendly device, but it's also really pricey. So I think that is also a reason why I should place it between a B and a C, because it's just really expensive. And if I hadn't backed it on Kickstarter, I'm not too sure if I would have gotten one. Okay, moving on, let's take a look at what we're going to be reviewing next. Give me a second. Okay, I just realized something. We're 90 minutes into this stream, and so far I've reviewed 2, 4, 6 devices. Okay, by that rate, I should be done in 6 hours or so. So I hope none of you has planned something or is going anywhere. You better stay where you are. Oh, because I'm talking right into it. Thanks, I appreciate the nice words. This one here, also Teenage Engineering, my microphone. It is too expensive. I'm going to say that as a first, even though I think I want to take a moment and just talk about Teenage Engineering in general, just because I've been a fan of theirs for quite some time, but also because I think people are very split in their opinion on them. So the first thing I've gotten from Teenage Engineering was the I couldn't afford the OP1 at the time, so I bought the what I thought was the successor or like follow up to the OP1. I need to look up what it's called because I forgot. What was it called? I'm just browsing the store right now. Give me a second. Oh yeah, the OPZ. Does anyone remember the OPZ, or maybe does anyone own one or has owned one? So I'm just throwing it in the tier list just for some visualization of things, right? This is the OPC. And it was way more affordable at the time than the OP1. And let's see, how do I get this out of there? Okay. So that was my first Teenage Engineering product, but at that time I was like obsessing over the OP1 for not months but years. I've always wanted one. I don't even know why by now I haven't bought one. It just never happened. Even though I think it's a beautiful device, and the reiteration of it, the field version, looks like even cleaner, has more features, more capabilities, looks really awesome. I sold the already forgot the name again. I sold it after a time. I had fun with it. I made some jams with it. Yeah, buttons are finicky, I admit. And overall, I don't know. I thought that it wasn't what they promised it would be. I remember when they first announced it, it was like, the battery is going to last you 24 hours. It's this and that. And they removed those claims after a while from their homepage, and then they released it. And it was still good, and battery life was all right, but it could have been more. Like, they tried to make a device without a display, and I think they succeeded, and they made something really cool with it, and it had great arpeggiator. I really loved connecting it to the computer and like have the visualization. I made a nice jam with that. Hold on, I'm going to link that in the chat for you and order you to watch it at some point. Maybe not while you're watching my stream, but I'm really still very happy with how that jam turned out, and I used like all the video effects that the device offered as well, and just had so much fun with it at the time. That was 5 or 6 years ago, something like that. Let's see. Here you go. So yeah, that was me doing my videos like 2018, 19, something like that. All right, then things got better for me in my relation to Teenage Engineering, because when they released this, I knew I had to get the TX6, because I've always wanted a mixer that is just small and portable. It's battery powered. I can take this anywhere. The battery will last me like 4 to 6 hours, which is amazing. It has 6 stereo inputs. You can route each of them individually, even as single, like as mono inputs or outputs. You can use it as a sound device for your computer. It has so much to offer. And I know people went nuts when they heard like the price point of it. I think it's $1,200 US dollars and the same amount in euros, which, don't get me wrong, I know is an insane amount of money and is probably out of reach for a lot of people, and is like not exactly something you just, purchase because you feel like it. But I don't think there's anything comparable out there. There are other mixes. There are small mixes. Bastel, for example, is a German company that does cool stuff, and they have a very small mixer as well. But this is just on another level. And then, since everything is so, individual, like the design, the aluminum chassis, like all those sliders, buttons, knobs, the display, it's all custom made stuff, and they're not mass producing on the same scale as Roland or Korg or Sony. This is still very much a boutique company that does things on a smaller scale, even though I do think that with the KO2 and stuff like that, they are selling a lot of goods. But this is a niche I don't want to say a niche product, but it is very much something that is aimed at a very specific audience, So to me, it's totally worth it. Somebody else might be like, what is wrong with you? Spend $200 and get a Mackie mixer and it will do the same thing. And they're not wrong, but also not right. And previously, like up until a year ago or so, I was recording all my vocals for music, for my tracks, and also all the voiceover for my videos with a Shure SM7B, which is a nice microphone, but I sold it. It has a very low output, and you need something like a cloud lifter or, some sort of some way to lift your gain, because the gain that comes from the SM7B is just and I've always been a fan of like huge condenser mics like this one. I think if I hold it at a certain angle, you can see the, what's it called? Diaphragm? Well, at least you can see the center of it and where it's connected. And I think it has a very nice sound. Again, it is, so this is like an active mic, a condenser mic, so it needs phantom power. Luckily, it also has a battery built in and will last you, I don't know, at least 6 hours on a single charge. It has a small XLR output. It has a small TRS output, and you can even connect it via USB-C. So you can theoretically output your microphone signal in 3 ways simultaneously. So does it make it, does it have very far reach for picking up sounds from distance? Yes, it does. That's the thing with condenser mics. Like this one can get crazy where you will be able to just hear everything, and whereas a dynamic microphone is much more suitable for not picking up your environmental sounds as well. So I think it does have its pros and cons. If you know what you're in for, this is a really good sounding mic. Does it compare to something like, I don't know, like some of the pristine microphones out there that you can get for $1,000 or in that ballpark? I don't know. I honestly don't know. To me, it sounds excellent. It's well balanced. I like how open it sounds. I don't think it's too crazy on the bass or on the highs. It fits my voice nicely. And so, yeah, I've been using it ever since. I'm doing all my voiceovers on videos with it and all the vocals for my music, which I haven't released too much lately. I think there's only one song out there that actually makes use of that microphone yet, but more will come. So let's just throw the microphone into the tier list and move on. Hmm. Where do I put it? I may be a bit too nice with my reviews, but then again, obviously, all the stuff that I like. Well, most of it. This is. I've had issues with it, and this is a replacement model they've sent me. This is also something I want to say. Teenage engineering. I'm regularly visiting like the OP forums because I'm just interested at what's happening out there, and I'm interested in other people's opinion to a certain degree. And I've seen a lot of complaints about the customer service of Teenage Engineering, and I cannot agree. I think their customer service is very nice, very recommendable. I've unfortunately had to deal with them 4 times already. They replaced this one here, not because of any technical errors or something like that. I've been using it for almost 2 years, and while cleaning it, the markings on the buttons just came off. I contacted them. I told them, hey, it's not a deal breaker. It's just kind of weird that I spend so much money on a device like that, and then the paint comes off, right? And they were like, no, you're right, that should not happen. And I was like, yeah, I know, but it's too late now anyways. I've had it for almost 2 years. And they were like, no, we're offering service for 2 years. And I sent it in, and I got a new one with a now new guarantee for another 2 years. So, I mean, that is really dope. The microphone I had did have a technical issue because you see on the back here. Excuse the blood on the finger. I cut myself. It has 3 different settings in regards to how sensitive the microphone will pick up audio, and one of those settings didn't work as intended, and it distorted. Like the sound was always like running too hot, and no questions asked. I got a new one, works perfectly well. Awesome. And before I wanted to get to the Roland S-1 just because it's super cute. I have one more Teenage Engineering product that I really like a lot and that we're going to be talking about now. How excited are you? Ooh. I'm not a hype man. Bam. If you have seen any of my videos, especially those from the last year or so, you may have spotted this little thing here. It's the Teenage Engineering OB4. basically it's a Bluetooth speaker, and a pricey one. Of course it's pricey because it's teenage engineering, and they can't just do regular. They either do, I don't know, super cool, niche, freaky nerd stuff at a really fair price point. I mean, this is like, I don't know, $350 or something like that. It's a no-brainer. And then there's something like that. This is the off-white edition. I don't know. I do not own anything that has this orange color, and I've never seen anything like that before either. I don't know if the camera, it sort of does translate to the picture because it's like fluorescent. This thing is glowing. It's crazy. It is the most insane color that I've ever seen, and I didn't buy it at full price, full disclaimer, not because I got a deal with Teenage Engineering or anything. Actually, I've been looking at the store at it for months and months, and at one point it was sold out, and I contacted them and they told me that there is a Norwegian electronic retailer that still has 2 of these. And then I got in touch with them, and they gave me a very good deal on it, and that was my Christmas present to myself. So just a short overview. It has an input. Let's see. I thought about connecting it via Bluetooth, but then I just realized that my phone is up there recording the table down here. So let's see if you pick up some of the audio, because it is fascinating to me what this thing does in a way. Because, of course, in good old Teenage Engineering fashion, this is not just a Bluetooth speaker, it is more. Not much more, but it is super fun to use. Let's see.
Number. No name. No names. Just number. No name. No names. Just number. No name. Just number. No name. No names.
So yeah, it is a one-trick pony, but it's a cool trick. There is this magnetic wheel that just continues on and on, so it's constantly recording. I can just... I don't know. I've been using it for... I think I have it for... It was Christmas 2022, so almost 2 years. And I'm never I never get tired of it. I use it all the time. It's just my go-to to just plug the output of the mixer into and use it for jams. I think it sounds nice. It could use even more bass response, I think, but the bass is fine. It's a Bluetooth speaker that can scratch. It also has some weird modes where you can just affect the audio that is incoming and turn it into something sort of ethereal. And it has some built-in sounds. It has radio, it has Bluetooth. It is what it is. I like it a lot. I think it looks nice. It's fun to use. I use it in all my videos, actually, because it's just comfortable to me to have a speaker that I can place anywhere and hear what I'm jamming. And prior to that, I used a smaller Bluetooth speaker from another company that also had audio in. And I realized that what a lot of Bluetooth speakers do for their audio in, they mute the audio in and they turn it back on as soon as audio comes. But you always hear that initial reaction to the incoming audio. So there will always be, like, if I start a beat, the first kick will be missing the initial attack. And that is something that drives me nuts. I don't appreciate that. I don't appreciate a speaker that thinks it's okay to turn itself off for a moment because no input is coming. No, I tell you when you're off. So that's by the way, we are going to have to be doing a second part of this. We're nearing the 2-hour mark now, and men and women and everyone in between, we got nowhere. Shit, I am so slow. Oh man, I'm so slow. This is insanity. Exactix, I'm surprised you're actually still here. You've held your word so far. I'm very impressed. So yeah, this is a beat here. It's a nice Bluetooth speaker. It costs too much. It looks super nice. I love the color. It's really cool. Hey man, Radio, big up. I hope you're good. The thing is, one feature would totally elevate this to NA for me. So as I said, it constantly records what you're feeding into it, and it has like storage for, I don't know, 4 hours of audio or something like that. Maybe it's even more, I don't know. And you can save these sessions and you can recall them and listen to them, but you cannot export them, and there's no audio out. So the only way would then be to use a microphone to record it, which is ridiculous. I want some form of, I don't know, even if it's via Bluetooth and incredibly slow and tedious, I don't care. Give me a way to export my saved loops into a WAV file and, you know, be able to use them on my computer in my DAW or whatever. Then we're talking A tier. But for now, we're staying at the solid B. Okay. Let's move on. The next one is going to be quick and dirty. Just so as always, I really like devices with a battery. Just I don't know. Actually, I come from someone who's been working in the box, like exclusively in the box. I've started with Fruity Loops, then I got into Cubase, and now for 10 years I've been working in Ableton Live. This is where I still produce all my final like tracks that I put on Spotify or Bandcamp or whatever. Usually that is something that has been produced within Ableton. And I love working in the box, but since technology has progressed so wildly and there's an infinite number of plugins, of effects, of synths, and then there's synths like, I don't know was it from Arturia, for example, Pigments, and it's a single synth that has like so many presets that I could spend a weekend just going through presets one by one, and that is something that drives me up the walls. I don't appreciate that. I mean, I do if I'm looking for something, but if I just want to be creative and if I just want to jam out, then that's too much. It gives me option paralysis. I just sit there and I can't make up my mind, and at some point I cannot decide what sounds better or what sounds worse. It all starts to sound the same, and then I lose interest and I stop working. If I use devices, and yeah, I realized that many of these devices may feel inferior to your DAW or to your sample libraries or virtual synths or whatever. But the thing is, if I sit down with, I don't know, just the KO2 and this, I will end up with a jam. And otherwise I maybe won't. Maybe that's just my ADHD brain needing this pre-filtered limited option to be able to focus on something and really get going. No idea, but that's how it is. And this is the S1 by Roland, obviously based on the SH1 synth at a very low price point with a nice battery, USB-C, MIDI in and out, sync in and out. If you hear like 10,000 hi-hats, I'm super confused. Sometimes limited is better. Sometimes limited is better. Totally. Yeah. So glad you're enjoying the sound that is coming from the S1. I think this synth sounds fantastic. I'm a huge fan of the original of the SH1, which is, you know, boutique at this point and vintage and hard to come by or hard to pay. And some of these already do not age that well, so you need to replace parts and just it's old stuff. And some of those synths do not age that well, in my opinion. Like technically, they detune, yeah, and so on, and sometimes lose part of their sonic capabilities. But this one is really nice, really fun. I think it sounds absolutely lovely. I think they did a great job. Let's see. Great filter, great range. So you can do like really nice growly bass. And also very nice and mellow leads. It has a very nice lush reverb, nice delay as well. And I think I've heard it used like in orbital tracks or gold frap, a lot of 90s stuff, a lot of stuff also like Apollo 440 has used the SH1, Chemical Brothers. I don't know, and I'm just a sucker for 90s electronic music. That's what I grew up on, and that's always what I'm hunting for. So yeah. Behold my amazing keyboard mastery capabilities of thingsiness. You know it. Okay. Let's rate this one as well. No big surprise here. This is going to be an 8 here. I mean, it's just too good. What am I to do? Okay, this is an A tier. It's a no-brainer. It is amazing. It doesn't cost much. It sounds insanely good. You can sync it, you can MIDI control it, you can battery power it. It has built-in effects. It has an arpeggiator. It has transpose functions. Yeah, I mean, what's not to like about this? It's cute, it's small, it's green, it's a mean machine. Yeah, that's me freestyling. Curious if you have any gear that you'd rate at the bottom. I don't, because I get rid of the gear that I don't like. There was one that I would have rated at the bottom, and I am going to be talking about that for a second now. Hold on. Let's see. I don't know if any of you has seen this one here before. I'm going to be copying it into the tier list for the time being, just while I talk about it for a second. It's the Yamaha Seqtrak, right? And it came out. It came out not too long ago, January of this year. So, as you can see, the design is obviously influenced by teenage engineering. I had it pre-ordered because I really wanted it. I was so curious. I was hoping that another company would take the teenage engineering aesthetic and their ideas and run with them and do something crazy and cool. And this is the biggest piece of shit that I have ever owned. And I sold it at a loss, and I'm grateful somebody took it, and I hope they do enjoy it. I don't know how you would enjoy using something like that because it's atrocious. It is the worst piece of music gear that I have ever seen, owned, touched, or known of. I don't know. If any of you has one of these, I'm sorry, don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. But please, if you do have one, let me know why you would like that. It doesn't show, but so it has no display. It has background lit wording on here, like a menu. And then it has buttons on this side of the device, on this side of the device, on that side of the device, and on the back side, and on the top. So there are 5 sides to this thing that has buttons, which is I'm speechless. I was so disappointed. It has some nice sounds, but that's it. It is nothing about it is intuitive. You can't really properly use it without a computer because you need the display, because otherwise browsing for sounds will become a nightmare. It is it's not pleasing to use it. The tactility isn't great. Nothing about this is good. Nothing. It's just the worst. And if you have one, I am sorry. And since let's see, you know what? Since I had one and sold it just like 2 months ago or something like that, maybe 3, I'll put it here at E. Why is my list only going to E, by the way? Shouldn't there be an F? No? Aren't those tier lists from S to F? I don't know. But yeah, Yamaha Seqtrak, worst piece of gear ever. If you have one, burn it, try to get rid of it, do something else with your money, get a KO2, I don't know, get a Game Boy, buy Nanoloop, do something that is fun with your money. Don't buy this cigarette looking thingy that is impossible to use. Like the play button, no, the shift button is next to the button that you turn the device off with. Or was it the play button? I can't even remember. All I know is that during jamming I've turned the device off on accident like 5 times, and I just wanted to smash it into pieces. So yeah. Right? Who designed that? I have no idea. I'm flabbergasted. Yeah, the sound. Oh, exactly. Ed Stroll's totally right about the design possibilities. Like, the one good thing I will give it, the sounds it does come with are pretty good. Like, it's a nice selection of Yamaha sounds, but you can hardly tweak them and make them your own. And then it has like all these half-baked ideas, like there's a visualizer that you can use. So sort of the idea that they also took from Teenage Engineering, from the not OP1, the one I was talking about before, forgot the name. You know what I'm talking about. So they took that. It sucks. Everything. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. You know what? We should leave it at that, like at a high note, because so far I haven't run out of energy. We still have like 13 people watching. Now it's 11. And it has been a ton of fun. And I'm sorry that I didn't live up to the title of me reviewing my entire studio, but at least we got through 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 devices. So I gotta change the thumbnail and the title of that video. Reviewing some of my studio gear. So, you know what? Let me know if you're down for a part 2, maybe in a week or so. I'd really like that. I had a lot of fun. Enjoyed my time with you nice folks. Thanks to everyone tuning in. It was a blast for me. I felt really nervous about today and about doing this live stream because I thought maybe people would get bored of me just blabbing for 2 solid hours. But to my surprise, 2 hours and 15 minutes. That is a long ass time. And I feel like I'm running a bit out of energy now. No, you know what? Let's do one bonus review. Thanks to everyone. I'm so glad that you enjoyed your time. So this isn't going to be much of a review. It's just like a short way of me saying goodnight. One final jam exactly. I hope the battery lasts. The battery on this thing dies so quickly now. And I don't know where I have the power thingy, but we'll make it work, right? So this is the Game Boy Micro with Nanoloop 2. And okay, I'm going to be using some effects from the TX6 as well. For example, some reverb coming in any second now. Robert, ooh, yeah. I'm going to turn the reverb down. Robert, I have a very, very extensive video on Nanoloop. I don't know if you know. Like starting at 0 and going through all the way to a final jam. Hey Noise Commander, cool to see you on here. Like what you're doing. You can still buy Nanoloop. There's new versions. So this is the new iteration of the 2. And it has a sync out as well. Okay. I'll see you next time. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for your time, your attention, your nice comments. I appreciate you tremendously. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do that now. It means a lot to me. You can stream my music on Spotify and on any other streaming platform. I'm on Bandcamp and all that jazz. Cable drop, mic drop. I'm out of here. Thanks, everyone. Peace. I'll see you around.